Hey everyone, I'm David, and I recently had the opportunity to interview my friend Sandi Schmidt, who has been making and selling ocarinas at the Pike Place Market in Seattle, Washington for over 30 years. And I apologize for the audio, it was very noisy at Pike Place Market, but I hope you will enjoy this nonetheless. So how long have you been doing this? Because you've been here for a really long time.
Yeah, I've been at the Pike Place Market for 32 years.
Wow. 32 years.
Yeah, so when did Zelda come out? That was a real boon to the ocarina maker business, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely, I'm sure. I was going to ask you about that too. Like, what was business like before Zelda came out?
Well, we were buying our house, we owned cars, we actually get that enough for peanut butter and food for the children. So it's been since Zelda, same thing, only a little better, really, seriously. It's amazing. Because people seriously still, many people today do not believe they're real instruments.
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
That's the person that I'm intrigued by because they're so enchanted.
Yeah. That's what I've been kind of curious about too. Like, what is it about the ocarina that people are so enchanted by when they find out that they exist? And maybe it's just the fact that they relive their childhood through these video games.
Oh, they say that right out loud to me. This is my child. You just played my childhood when I played on Zelda.
Exactly.
So, but you know, that's this kind of the same thing generationally when I play like Yankee Doodle or something to a man who played him in the, you know, or whose dad played him in the 30s or 40s. They remember the sweet potato from way back when you could buy one of the Sears catalog for $20.
Oh yeah. So how did you even discover the ocarina?
I wasn't going to be a potter when I could. So I just started taking clay classes here and there, and I liked hand building and I liked throwing on the wheel. And then I started working with kids, and easy project for kids is wind chimes. And so I started hearing the tone that clay would make, you know, at the thinness, the thickness, the size of the chime. And I started differentiating. I'm thinking, dang, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't thinking about the possibility of tuning them or anything, but I knew I collected some pianos.
Okay.
And I think it was at a street fair in the Tri-Cities, I came across a little ceramic whistle. And it may have had one hole. So I became intrigued, and it took me 4 days to get a tone out of a piece of clay, but I sat there till I got a tone out of that. I'll never forget that tone.
Wow.
Do you remember the first one you got? When you actually made the clay,
yes.
Cut it, and
yeah, that was awesome. So for the camera's sake, in 2009 we had a Ocarina meetup here in Seattle, which was amazing to me because that was only about 2 years after I really got into it.
Yeah.
And found out there were a whole bunch of people who love the ocarina around the U.S. and wanted to organize something.
Yeah.
Which turned out pretty
very
well.
nice.
It was so fun, yeah. But you had done something similar to that in like years before that, right? You had like a play festival or something.
Well, we've had quite a few shows of instrument makers, ceramic, and we had one show called From Mud to Music. We didn't just restrict it to ocarinas. It was drums, and there was lots of ocarina makers though that sent them. Oh, there was all kinds of interesting instrument makers there. So we had flute makers and lots of ocarina makers and whistle makers.
What like inspired you to start trying to get together? Because not only did you do that with other ocarinas and ceramicists, but you started an online group too, the Yahoo Music Group, Yahoo Ocarina Maker Group.
Well, we were so amazed with just having a computer and finding out. Well, years before I'd done the little treasury of folk wind instrument makers, so I'm thinking, boy, we did that with snail mail.
Yeah.
So what can I find out on this amazing new machine I have in my house that I can connect with people all over? So you start. I can't even remember the name of the search engines back then. Maybe Ask or some weird old-fashioned. But I found the Boudreaux people, and I found all kinds of people.
Yeah.
And we just started up a Yahoo group, and just to see how many.
That was one of the first things I discovered when I was researching online about the ocarina. And I just when I went through the backlog of seeing who was in that group, it's like who's everyone in the ocarina world. People from Italy, Spencer, Songbird, everybody was in that yacht.
Did you see the pictures on the
Yes.
There's some amazing, I hope that stays there, just because of the research value of it. And there's so many people who are so willing to share methods of how they do things, from wooden ocarinas to clay ocarinas. I think we even discussed the metal ones too. So.
Yeah. At some point, you had made contact with not John Taylor, who made the ocarina, the four-hole ocarina, but Baz Jennings.
Mm-hmm.
How did that interaction start?
Was it online? It might have been online. Because, yeah, it was online. We just wrote to him online and told him who we were, and he told us who he was, and we liked his songbook, and he liked ours.
For the recording, who was Baz Jennings?
Well, he sold at the Camden Locks Market in London.
Okay.
And I never met him in real life. I wished I had. But anyhow, he learned from John Taylor, who was his friend, and so he told us all these amazing stories about John Taylor, and who was the mathematician that came up with this four-hole system that I learned from Alan Albright in the snail mail. You know, he said, this in wood. So he didn't often make just a simple four-hole pendant. He did mostly two-chamber.
The Harmony ones?
Yeah. But he got tired of me pestering him for the math for one-chamber one. And that's the first time I ever got, just by looking at his wooden one, that's how I got finally clicked in my head to get the four-hole system. Because I didn't know, up until the time I met Alan, I only, just put a random hole here or there on a vessel flute, and then this one guy walked up to my booth at Bumper Shoot Festival, and he put his flute case down on the ground. He picked up that ocarina and played the jazziest version of Mary Had a Little Lamb I ever saw in my life, on two holes, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding me. I had no idea that they would do that. So I'm thinking, if he can do that, I can do it.
That's great.
And so then I heard about the four holes.
So once you did start making them, what made you want to take the leap from doing it like for fun to doing it as a business?
I always did. I mean, the last job I had, let's see, I think my daughter was 4 and she's 42 now, so it's been that long since I've been doing it. I did it before we were here at the market. But, I worked at a pottery shop that had pottery supplies, and my boss's pottery there. And so, then I just decided I'm working for myself. And so I just kept doing, mostly it was little festivals, and that was a little harder, signing up for festivals, planning your schedule for a year, and that kind of stuff. But the markets, this place has been so good.
What have been some of the ups and downs in terms of the business side? If anyone was interested in turning this into like a job, what would you say are some of like the biggest struggles you've faced so far?
Well, I think a couple of young people have called us over the years, about it, and wanted to make sure we really did that for a living. I mean, you're serious? You make ocarinas for a living? Yes, we do. And then they want us to tell their fathers or moms that we do,
That's funny.
So we always said, yep, that's what we do.
Yeah.
People are pretty surprised by that, that you can. I say, well, what do you mean you didn't think you could grow up to be an ocarina maker?
Yeah.
And just, watching the other people who far surpassed. I love the Boudreaux story. I mean, that's gone on for a long, long time.
Right. I went to the festival this year in Italy, and it was just really interesting seeing the people who've been doing it for decades. Much older generation.
Yeah.
Roder was there, some local people in Boudreaux, but there was also some, at least 6 or 7 brand new ocarina makers, people who are like 17, 18, early 20s.
Yeah, I love that.
It's really cool to see that generation.
Sometimes I don't know whether they know of me or us, Richard and I, but we had people come down our driveway to come and pay homage. They'd come down with their raku kiln in their front seat of the truck, and just to come, can I stay here and work with you for a while? And there was just fun because there's so much to learn, teach and learn from each other.
On that note, I will say that I've always really appreciated how willing you and Richard were to share your knowledge of making ocarinas with a lot of people. So I think that inspired a lot of the makers we have today. Just they learn from you and the forum group. And
I can only hope, because in my opinion, being a teacher is the most honorable thing you can do.
Oh, I definitely agree.
How much are these?
How much is the Ocarina of Time?
I like rock and roll.
Classical.
I'm a classic rocker.
Classic rock. Okay, this is classic rock. Old time.
What was your music background like? Did you play any other instruments before you picked up?
No, they told me I was hopeless. They told my parents I was hopeless. No, I didn't play. I played with our piano after that. I didn't even pick up. I'm telling you, I went from a whistle with no holes. One note. I learned it from the inside out. And I'm 2 holes. I'm hey, that's do re mi. You know, that's 3. I'm going to get to all 8 of them, and then I'm going to figure out how to do the sharp. It's a completely unconventional method of learning. But I might be dyslexic.
Musically dyslexic?
I'm directionally challenged.
What have been some of your favorite moments from being here at Pike Place or just interacting with other ocarina players?
Maybe one of my very most favorite moments was up at the Vancouver Folk Music Festival when Mr. Pete Seeger
That's being slow. I don't see prices anywhere. Good. That's really nice. Thank you.
Thanks for stopping. So Mr. Pete Seeger and Mr. Utah Phillips walked up to the table and looked over the wares we had spread out for some ocarinas. Pete Seeger said, you know something, I learn a new musical instrument every single year.
Wow.
This year, I'm going to learn to play the ocarina.
That's awesome.
I know. That was pretty cool. So he picked out which one he wanted, and then he got his wallet out. And then we told him his money was no good at our table. And we were very honored. And Mr. Utah Phillips picked out one that played harmony with him. And off we went having a good time with our ocarinas while they were on break from being on the stage.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sitting here one day, and well, Richard and I are both here. And this Japanese young man walked up to the table, and he had obviously been herded over here by some American people, you know. And he looked down at our display, and I've had that little action figure on there. Hello, ladies. That has to be the most beautiful hat I ever saw. So anyhow, he comes up and he looked at Link, and then he looked at the little the ocarinas there, and he looked at us and he goes, I make, and he pointed at Link. I make, he said. He pointed at Link, and I'm going, what? And he took out he was dressed to the nines. He took out of his pocket a little leather sketchbook and a pencil, and he drew Link in a split second. He was the one the original person who drew Link for the Ocarina of Time Village.
Wow.
But he was the guy, I can't remember his name, but he gave me his business card, he gave me the sketch, he signed it. And all the cohorts were laughing out in the aisle there because they heard him over here. They knew we were here.
That might have been Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah, that's it. That was so weird that day. And so we presented him with an ocarina. He presented us with his sketch. And that was very, very nice. Oh, I think, we've had so many seriously amazing things. We've gone into lots of schools and worked with, we went into a special needs class one time, and one of the students in there was hearing impaired and blind. And we had enough big ocarinas that he could blow that and feel the vibrations.
Yeah.
And so he had somebody translating to him what he had and what he was doing, and his face lit up just as much as anybody else's face who blew it and made the sound, So that's been pretty cool. Yeah, we've been invited to a lot of nice places.
And you must see that all the time. I know I do. When you play a certain song for somebody that really penetrates your childhood or some sort of memory, their face lights up. And it's just like their day, their week, their year has been made.
It's a mood changer.
Yeah.
I will play you a tune. Thank you.
Well, obviously, you're in Pike Place Market in Seattle. If people want to find you online, what are some of your websites and socials?
Oh, my website is Clayzy, CLAYZ.com. But I don't go on I don't look at email anymore. You have to call me on the phone.
Okay.
Or send me a message or find me on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah,
I spend way too much time. I have a Clayzeness Whistleworks site on there.
Facebook.
And I check it once in a while. And yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I think I'm on as Sandi Schmidt, not as Clayzeness. But Clayzeness is on, I think I'm Sandi K. Schmidt on Facebook. How much is the Ocarina of Time from The Legend of Zelda with the golden Triforce? It stands for power, wisdom, and courage.